For 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, as I said to you last week, I truly applaud your bold steps in reshaping America's image and role in the world. And I look forward to working with you and the President in tackling these enormous challenges, which oftentimes are seen as opportunities. I'll submit to you the many questions I have for the record. Let me go to Cuba first. Yes, I firmly believe that we should promote freedom, human rights, democracy, encourage elections throughout the world. But remember, though, that recent history under the Bush administration shows us that we did this with the Palestinians and we ended up with Hamas. So sometimes it backfires. With regard to Mr. Mack's point about remember the history, well, yes, we do have to remember the history. And we also cannot forget the Bay of Pigs, assassination attempts, Guantanamo, the dictatorship of Batista. There are many, many issues that also have to be included in this history. You mentioned the Cuban plane flying over, the American plane flying over Havana. Well, I'm not so sure if a Cuban plane entered U.S. airspace, what our response would be. I raise these questions because these are two sovereign countries which have serious, serious issues to address on both sides, and I recognize that it's going to be very difficult as we move forward. Last week, a week before last, as you know, I led a delegation of members of Congress to Cuba with one specific purpose, and that was to assess whether or not Cuba wanted to move forward with the dialogue and whether or not all issues, such as political prisoners, human rights, the plight of Afro-Cubans, would be placed on the table if, in fact, discussions would move forward. Of course, President Raul Castro communicated to us, yes. And I applaud yourself and the President for moving forward with the family reunification efforts. This is the right thing to do, and the steps that you're taking to help reunite Cuban Americans and Cubans. Wanted to ask you if there are any other plans, any other policies you're considering looking at, and do you agree with lifting the travel ban for all Americans to travel to Cuba? Also, I remember back in 1998, there was a report by the Pentagon that said that Cuba did not present a national security threat to the United States. And so I'm wondering, from your administration's point of view, why is Cuba still on the list of state sponsors of terror? And what can or should Cuba do anything to be removed from the list of state sponsors of terror? And finally, I have to thank you for your response to my questions regarding the investigation of my constituent, Tristan Anderson, who was seriously injured when he was shot in the head by tear canisters by an Israeli soldier in the West Bank of Naoun. I hope that the State Department will insist that the Israeli government hold those responsible accountable and that the family and Tristan receive an apology, and I will send you additional questions to that issue. Thank you very much. Good to see you again, Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Congresswoman. You know, we have taken the actions that you know so well, in addition to the remittances and the travel for family members. We also have opened up telecommunications investment in Cuba. We are taking a hard look at this in the response that we received from Raul Castro, and we are available to engage with the Cuban government if they are willing to do so. But we don't yet know whether they really are or not. And I have to say, I think that if two small, little, unarmed planes had gotten into our airspace, they would have been forced down. I don't think they would have been shot down. I think that there is such a stake that the Castro regime has in making the United States the excuse for everything that goes wrong inside Cuba, that they're going to have to really have a change in attitude about how and under what circumstances they would want to really have that discussion that you described, that you were assured that Raul Castro said everything would be on the table. But we're considering what they might come back with, but so far we don't really see any movement. But as the President said, we are open.
The time of the gentlelady has expired. The gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Scott, is ready.